Some people disappear quietly. They pack a bag, leave in the night, and hope nobody notices. But Marcus Hale was not some people. Marcus Hale was the president of the Cedarwood Hills Homeowners Association for 11 years. He sat at the head of every meeting. He shook every hand. He smiled at every barbecue. And then one Thursday morning, he was dead. Or so we were told. There was a funeral. A casket. Flowers. Crying neighbors. I stood at that graveside and I felt guilty for every bad thing I had ever thought about the man. That guilt lasted exactly 19 days, because on day 20, I received an anonymous email with a single photograph attached. Marcus Hale. Alive. Sitting at a beach restaurant in Cancun, Mexico. Sipping a margarita. Wearing sunglasses. Without a care in the world. And that was when I realized, the funeral was fake. The casket was empty. And Marcus had stolen something so enormous from our community that he decided dying was easier than facing what he had done. I need to tell you about Marcus Hale before any of this makes sense. Because you need to understand who this man was, or who we thought he was. Marcus joined the Cedarwood Hills HOA board 12 years ago as a volunteer. Within 1 year he had worked his way up to vice president. Within 2 years he was president. And for the next 11 years, Marcus ran everything. Every decision. Every contract. Every vendor. Every repair project. Every community fund. He was charming in a way that made you feel special just for being noticed by him. Tall. Well-dressed. Always had the right answer at the right moment. At our annual community meetings he would stand at the podium and present beautifully organized reports showing exactly how our dues were being spent. New playground equipment. Repaved roads. Upgraded pool facilities. Security improvements. Everything looked perfect on paper. Everything looked legitimate. Nobody ever questioned Marcus. Nobody ever asked to see the actual receipts. I was one of those people. And I am ashamed of that now. It started with a pothole. I know that sounds ridiculous, but that is exactly how it started. There was a large pothole at the entrance of our community that had been there for 8 months. Every month at the HOA meeting Marcus would announce that the road repair company was scheduled to fix it the following week. Every week came and went. The pothole remained. One evening I was driving home when I hit that pothole so hard it damaged my tire. I was furious. I went home and pulled up our HOA financial statements that Marcus posted online every quarter. I found a line item from 6 months earlier. Road maintenance and repair, $14,000. Paid. To a company called Cedar Road Solutions LLC. I searched for Cedar Road Solutions LLC online. No website. No reviews. No business registration. No phone number. Nothing. I searched the state business registry. Cedar Road Solutions LLC had been registered 4 months earlier. At an address that turned out to be a UPS store mailbox location. Someone had created a fake company. Collected $14,000 from our HOA fund. And the pothole was still there. Before I could do anything with what I had found, everything changed. On a Thursday morning our neighborhood Facebook group exploded with messages. Marcus Hale had suffered a massive heart attack in his home the previous night. He was gone. Just like that. 11 years of leadership. Gone overnight. I remember sitting with my coffee reading those messages feeling completely numb. Whatever suspicions I had felt suddenly seemed cruel and petty. The man was dead. His wife Margaret appeared at the funeral looking devastated. His 2 adult children flew in from out of state. The whole neighborhood came together. We collected money for the family. We brought food. We mourned. I mourned. I put away every single document I had printed about Cedar Road Solutions LLC and I told myself to let it go. The man was gone. What good would it do now? That was the biggest mistake I almost made. 19 days after the funeral, I was sitting at my kitchen table when my phone buzzed with an email from an address I did not recognize. The subject line said simply, "You should see this." I almost deleted it as spam. Something made me open it instead. Inside was a single photograph. No message. No explanation. Just a photo. And in that photo, clear as daylight, was Marcus Hale. Sitting at an outdoor beach restaurant. Tropical drinks on the table. Sunglasses on his face. Completely relaxed. Completely alive. The metadata on the photograph showed it was taken 3 days ago, in Cancun, Mexico. My hand started shaking so badly I dropped my phone on the table. I picked it up and stared at that photograph for 20 minutes straight. Then I did something that I believe was the most important decision of this entire story. I did not post it on social media. I did not call my neighbors. I called a private investigator first. And then I called the FBI. While I was working with investigators over the following weeks, the full picture began to emerge. And it was so much worse than a $14,000 fake road repair. Marcus had been systematically looting the Cedarwood Hills HOA fund for 9 years. 9 years of fake vendor companies. Fake maintenance contracts. Fake security upgrades. Fake legal fees. Fake administrative costs. Every single fake company traced back to bank accounts that Marcus controlled through shell companies registered in 3 different states. He had stolen from playground repairs. He had stolen from pool maintenance. He had stolen from the Community Emergency Reserve Fund that was supposed to protect homeowners in case of major property damage. The total amount stolen over 9 years, $4,200,000. From a community of 240 families. Families who had trusted him completely. Families who had voted for him year after year. And when Marcus realized that someone, me, had started pulling on the thread of Cedar Road Solutions LLC, he made a decision. He staged his own death and ran. The FBI field office assigned 3 agents to the case within 48 hours of my report. The private investigator I had hired had already tracked Marcus to Cancun through the photograph metadata and additional images found on a private social media account Marcus was running under a false name. What the FBI found when they began digging was extraordinary. Marcus had been planning his disappearance for at least 2 years. He had obtained a fraudulent passport under the name Daniel Reyes. He had been moving stolen money through accounts in Mexico and Belize for 18 months before his fake death. He had purchased a beachfront condominium in Cancun worth $600,000 under his false identity. His wife Margaret, I want to be clear about this because it matters, had no knowledge of any of it. She was as much a victim as the rest of us. Marcus had simply told her he was going on a business trip the week before his staged death. She had received a phone call saying he had collapsed. She had buried what she believed was her husband. She had grieved. The man had let his own wife mourn him so he could escape to Mexico with stolen money. FBI agents and Mexican federal authorities located Marcus at his Cancun condominium on a Tuesday afternoon. He answered the door in a bathrobe holding a coffee cup. The look on his face when he saw the badges, witnesses said it was a look of a man whose entire world collapsed in a single second. Marcus Hale was extradited to the United States within 30 days. The charges against him were extraordinary. Wire fraud. Embezzlement. Money laundering. Identity fraud. Filing a false death certificate. Obstruction of justice. 21 federal charges in total. The trial lasted 8 weeks. Every fake vendor company was traced and documented. Every stolen dollar was accounted for. Former HOA board members testified that Marcus had manipulated every financial report shown to the community. His own accountant testified that Marcus had maintained 2 completely separate sets of financial records for 9 years. The jury deliberated for 6 hours. Guilty on all 21 counts. Marcus Hale was sentenced to 27 years in federal prison. At his sentencing he tried to make a statement about how much he had contributed to the community over the years. The judge stopped him after 30 seconds. The recovered assets, including the Cancun condominium, multiple bank accounts, and investment portfolios, were liquidated and distributed back to the 240 families of Cedarwood Hills. Every family received a restitution payment. The average payment per household, $17,000. And that pothole at the entrance of our community? It was finally fixed. Paid for by the sale of Marcus Hale's beach condominium. I want you to think about something. Marcus Hale sat at the head of HOA meetings for 11 years. He presented beautiful reports. He shook hands. He smiled. He was trusted completely by 240 families. And for 9 of those 11 years, he was robbing every single one of them. He nearly got away with it forever. He had planned everything. The fake companies. The false identity. The staged death. The escape to Mexico. He had thought of everything. Except one thing. He did not think that one neighbor would get a flat tire from a pothole. Would pull up a financial statement. Would search for a company name. Would find a UPS store mailbox instead of a real business address. One pothole. One curious neighbor. That is all it took to unravel 9 years of fraud and bring a fugitive home from Mexico in handcuffs. Never underestimate what one person paying attention can do. Subscribe right now because I have 12 more stories in my folder. And every single one of them will make you question everything you think you know about the people managing your neighborhood. Comment below, would you have opened that email or deleted it?